clapping. Let's keep clapping.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, everybody. All right, it gladdens my heart to be here, and that's because it reminds me of when I was in school. All right, it's good to be here, right? This afternoon, we'll be enlightening ourselves about what is the current news. I'm sure we all know that there is a pandemic called the coronavirus, right? Okay, so this afternoon, we'll all be talking about it. And how do we get to protect ourselves as an individual, as a family, as a community, as a nation? And so I'll try to be as simple as I can, okay? But I wouldn't want you to mind the medical jargons. You might not really bother yourself much. When it gets to the point where we need much emphasis, then I will let you know, and we'll have some practical section. I hope that's okay by us. Is that okay by us? Okay, beautiful. Coronavirus outbreak. Media, please. First slide. Beautiful. This is the world, right? This is the world globe. And we can see those other pictures around just denotes the virus itself, meaning that the virus is ravaging the whole world. True or false? As at present, coronavirus is in virtually all continents of the world except the Antarctica. All right, so we'll talk about coronavirus outbreak. Next, please. I'll be using the following outline. I will introduce what it is. From the introduction, I'll define it. I'll talk about the origin, the epidemiology, the worldwide distribution, the types, the etiopathogenesis, or what we call the pathology. How do the virus come about? Okay. This is it. How do this virus, the coronavirus, hijack our cells? That is what etiopathogenesis means. Then we'll go to the management, which comprises of the ones you can see underneath. Then I'll go to the preventive measures, which is actually the meat of the matter today. Then we'll talk about the myths, the recommendations, future projections. Then I will conclude. Please, as the presentation goes on, if you have any question, just write it down in a piece of paper and get one of the ushers to pass it across. So that once I'm done, I'll just answer the question. I'm sure most of the question would have been answered by the time I'm done. All right, by way of introduction, what then is coronavirus? Coronavirus, otherwise called COVID-19, as some of us would have been listening on the media, or what we call the novel coronavirus. Novel coronavirus just means that it's a new virus. Okay, we do not know how it came about, and we do not know how it's going to go, if I'll use that word. We don't know the trend, for how long will this virus last. So coronavirus is actually from a large family of viruses called the Coronaviridae. It just belongs to some set of family, the Coronaviridae. Then we have the phylum, as you can see, the order, the subfamily. Those are the taxonomic, what we call the class, okay, the class of this virus. Just like we have class of everything. Now, this coronavirus could present as a common illness, and it could come as a common cold. This individual is having a runny nose, is coughing, is having difficulty in breathing and the likes. Or this coronavirus can be severe, in which can come as what we call the MERS or the SARS. The MERS simply means the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, and the SARS is the severe acute respiratory syndrome. What then is the origin of coronavirus? This virus actually came about late last year, December to be precise, and it's said to have originated from a state called Wuhan in Hubei province in China. Now, this virus is said to be zoonotic, meaning that it's gotten from animals. And so it was theorized that this particular virus possibly was gotten from animals such as bats, some species of cats called the civet cats, and some form of camels we call animals we call the pangolins. The pangolins are known to traffic humans. So of course, if humans have contact with this set of animals, every possibility that any other human that have contact with the index case will most likely contact the virus. So it was said that there's a particular seafood in China called the Hunan seafood market, or they call it the wet market, because they sell animals. That's what they sell there. So anyway, scientists postulated that the virus, somebody got to buy a particular animal from the market and ate, and so the person came down with the virus, eventually had contact with another human. But how true, we do not know. Okay, so this is the epidemiology. I've already said some few things there. It started December, and so the World Health Organization actually now declared it an epidemic around January 11th. But eventually, 12th of March, it was declared a pandemic, meaning that it's worldwide distributed. Okay, so this is COVID-19 confirmed worldwide. This particular pictorial diagram is showing us locations by numbers of confirmed cases. Okay, this is another one: countries, territories with reported confirmed cases of COVID-19 as at 11th February this year. This is a more recent one. This was gotten around 3rd of March. The worldwide COVID-19 cases, we can see the total confirmed as at 3rd of March is 92,303. That's really, really high. This is the number of daily new COVID-19 cases. Okay, we can see that the number keeps increasing as the day goes by. And I can assure you by today, so many other people had died. COVID-19 cases worldwide as at 22nd of January to 17th of March. You can see the curves. The one on top actually depicts those that have died, then the confirmed cases. Now, where has this virus spread? As at the time this update was taken, 82 countries, and unfortunately, including Nigeria, is already affected. Now, what are the types of coronavirus? Somebody might want to know, okay, this coronavirus, is it just one type of coronavirus, or there are several types? There are actually 7 types of coronavirus, and 4 common types actually of human COVID-19 causes symptoms of common cold, and which we know that symptoms that include runny nose, dry cough, shortness of breath, headache, fatigue. The person complains of tiredness, general body weakness. Some of these 4 common types actually causes it, and you can see the strains as listed there: 229E, NL63, OC43, and HKU1. But the one we are more worrisome about is COVID-19. Now, we are more worrisome because this is a new type of virus and we don't actually understand how it invades the human cell per se. And that is why we are more worried about it. Now, this is, when I talk about etiopathogenesis, I said it's simply how do this virus hijack the human cell. This is what happened. As we'll get to know of how to prevent ourselves from contacting this virus, or how to observe good hygiene. When a person have this virus and eventually exhale into the atmosphere, the virus stays in the atmosphere and another human now inhales the virus, okay? Once this virus is inhaled, this is what happens. The virus attaches itself to the upper respiratory system. I'm sure the biology students, we understand what I'm talking about. It will now attach itself to the upper respiratory system of the host cell. And it does this by a protein, okay, let me call it a protein we call the ACE2. Now, once that is done, this virus that had infected the cell now infuses its lipid membrane. That's where the arrow goes down to fusion of lipid membrane. It now infuses itself, okay, to the cell membrane of the host cell of this human now. And once it does that, once it's inside the cell, it releases a genome called the RNA. I'm sure we all know what RNA is. Okay, biology student, we know that, but it's just ribonucleic acid, okay, RNA genome. And once the RNA genome has been produced, it now gets translated now, okay, into another protein. So you can see this, we can't really tell. It's changing from one form to the other, okay? So it now is not translated, and eventually this now progresses. And once it progresses, it affects the cellular integrity of the cell, thereby producing some form of spikes. Because the virus, if you look at that other diagram, you can see a virus that looks like it's spiking up. The virus has a spike, okay, and it's actually club shaped, okay. The virus is it's actually crown-like. The word corona is gotten from a Latin word. The corona is a Latin word meaning crown-like, the crown of a king. So that is it. The spikes are the ones projecting. So it now produces the spikes and the proteins, and once it does that, it forms more copies of new viruses. Okay? And once that is done, this new virus now assembles itself to the outer edge of the cell. And each of these infected cells then finally breaks out and dies. So that means the individual dies. That is how it happens. Okay, there's need for us to know. This is how the cell is being hijacked. Now, how do we manage this virus? In management, we will need to know how it's being transmitted. Even though it's zoonotic, meaning that it's gotten from animals, we need to know that there is the close contact, there is the human contact, okay? And that we need to be careful of, and we need to get ourselves protected. There's person to person, close contact, exposure to respiratory droplets of an infected person, then contaminated surfaces. Although it's not really being proven that if someone that has coronavirus sneezes on a surface like this, and maybe a mobile phone is there, or sneezes and the hand is infected, holds the handle of a door, and you have a contact with those surfaces, it's not been proven yet that you can contact coronavirus, but it's one of the ways. Okay, now what are the risk factors? Of course, we just talked about one of them, close contact. If you have a close contact with an infected person, then you're at risk. And that is why one of the measures is to self-isolate. Okay, when you notice some of these symptoms, or you have contact with somebody that you think has coronavirus, the person should self-isolate, meaning that you stay indoor. So if you are self-isolating, that means you are even self-isolating from your own family. That means you get a particular room and stay there for 14 days. Reason is we don't want you to infect others. It's highly contagious, please. So we need to know that. And some people that had come back from an international travel, I think about 36 hours ago, some international travel has been banned. As at the time I got the information, about 13 countries or so. So if you know that someone just came back from the US, UK, China, and all that, you need to distance yourself because you will be at risk. Now, clinical presentation. How do these patients manifest? We have common presentations, we have less common symptoms, and severe symptoms. The more common symptoms are the one we are familiar with, the flu-like symptoms. The person is having a runny nose, dry cough, headache, fatigue, shortness of breath. Those are the common symptoms. The less common symptoms include the person might complain of vomiting, diarrhea, but it's not that common because gastrointestinal tract is really involved when it comes to coronavirus. And when it comes to the severe symptoms, person presents with symptoms of pneumonia. Okay, now the person is having difficulty in breathing, that it might need a further assistance, okay, for the person. This is just what I said. Symptoms of COVID-19, systemic fever, fatigue, respiratory dry cough, shortness of breath, circulatory system, decreased white blood cells, and then the kidney, the person will have decreased kidney functions. So far, it's been said that coronavirus is also very infectious to the elderly. Okay, and so you hear that the elderly are more prone to having this disease. But notwithstanding, it's not just any elderly. Any aged person that has what we call comorbid conditions, hypertension, heart diseases, urinary problems, things that have to do with kidney failure, cancers, people like these are at risk. And so that's the graph there. I've talked about this. So the diagnosis, it's basically the Center for Disease Control came up with a diagnosis called the real-time, I think it's the real-time now, polymerase chain reaction assay. That is what they use to find out, okay, is this actually a coronavirus, before they can actually confirm the person positive. How do we treat this deadly virus called the COVID-19? Okay, there's a little joy, I can say. It's joy in our hearts. As at yesterday, there's no specific treatment. Okay, I could remember I made a presentation somewhere, and as at the time I made a presentation, I told them there is no specific treatment available yet, though there are various research going on as regards that. But in the last 24 hours, the United States of America had approved an anti-malaria called the chloroquine to be used to treat this virus. But of course, it's still going to undergo what we call randomized controlled trials. But it wouldn't undergo it for too long. Okay, so we have a drug called the chloroquine that could treat this coronavirus. And the principle is, in treatment, there should be a designated hospital that could take these patients that we suspect that probably this particular person have coronavirus, which we don't really have, because the Federal Ministry of Health is making some arrangements to make sure that at least each state of the country, including the FCT, have one isolation center. So they are still working at it, hoping that as time goes on, every state we have an isolation center. So once somebody is suspected to have a coronavirus, we will just take the person to that isolation center. Then the confirmed cases, usually they put them in a particular ward. But if it's just a suspected cases, you just put the person in a single ward. Critical cases goes to the intensive care unit. Okay, that's about that. No specific treatment as at yesterday, but in the last, I think, 12 hours ago, chloroquine had been approved. So what we do for now is supportive care, meaning that this person comes with runny nose, dry cough, headache, fatigue. You just give palliative treatment. You give analgesic, you give antipyretics. The person is really, really very weak. You probably might need to give intravenous fluid. Now, are there vaccines for coronavirus? Research is still ongoing. No vaccine yet. So you can see we really need to be careful of this deadly virus. What are the complications? The person can come down with sepsis. Sepsis simply means every of the system of the body is giving way. The person is having temperature very high as 40 degrees centigrade. The person's heartbeat is increasing. The person's breath is increasing. So all that signifies sepsis. Person could have some cardiac complications, kidney complications, respiratory, and eventually death. Now, this is where we are going, and we have arrived. Preventive measures. If this COVID-19 or novel coronavirus have no cure, let's go by that, because we can't really be that glad yet. What do we do to prevent this coronavirus? And so I have all these listed, and there will be some pictures just to give us more explanation. But we can see in the previous slide that there is need for you to inform. Inform here means that you are having symptoms that is not the usual symptoms you usually experience when you're ill. Runny nose, headache, fatigue, dry cough, your breath is seizing, shortness of breath, or difficulty in breathing. You need to self-isolate. Once you self-isolate, you can then inform the Center for Disease Control that, okay, I think I might be having some form of illness. I think I need to be checked. But that's after you've isolated for 14 days. Now, you need to avoid. Avoidance here means the way we are gathered here is not supporting this point. Because the avoidance here is avoid large crowds. Recently, worship gatherings in Lagos had been banned, meaning you can't go to church, you can't go to the mosque. It's been banned for some weeks now in Italy and even in China, Saudi Arabia. Most continents have banned large gatherings because we talked about close contact. And that is why we say when a person is sneezing, you should not be within 6 feet to that person. You should be at least 1.5 to 2 meters away from such person. Okay? Please don't be found in large crowds. But sometimes we really can't do away with that. Most of us, we need to go to the marketplace and go to the worship centers. Now, we need to talk about how we wash our hands. Most of us don't know how we wash our hands. It's very important. And like I tell people, coronavirus isn't just a virus that will make us start knowing these things. If you already have a personal hygiene that is at work in your own personal life, then you are just good to go. Imbibe the culture of washing your hands. Okay, and so I tell mothers, when your children come back from school, the first thing they do is not to eat indomie. The first thing to do is not to go and wee. The first thing to do is not to go and undress. Because once they involve themselves in those things, there's every tendency that they will forget. The first thing to do is go wash your hands. Once you imbibe this in them, it becomes part and parcel of them, to the extent that if there are two in the house and one is trying to go and get food, the other will caution and say, you've not washed your hand. True or false? Good. Please, there's need for us to know that. Hand sanitizers, okay? In instances when there's no water around you, you can make use of the hand sanitizer. There are smaller ones everywhere in the supermarket, so you can always get one and put in your handbags. It's not just putting biscuits or Coke or food in your bags or in your pocket as it were. You can just get a small hand sanitizer to use. That's in the event that there is no water. Okay? Then you use on your ends. Social distancing, I've talked about it. Someone is coughing around you, make sure that the person is far away. Or you take about 1.5 to 2 meters away. Now, you are coughing and you use a tissue paper or anything that, okay, you could use to cover your mouth. Try and dispose such in a dustbin. Then the use of a face mask is very crucial. That doesn't mean you're using a face mask. No, we are not ninjas, okay? But you need to use it when you feel this person is quite close to you and he's been having persistent cough or sneezing. This is just what I've explained. You wash your hands properly. You make sure that when you cough, you avoid touching your eyes, okay, or touching your hands, the hands that you coughed into, which is wrong, okay, but try and avoid that. Make sure your hands don't touch your face. Then when you're coughing, you don't cough into your hands. Most of us don't know how to cough. But there's a diagram I will show very soon to show how, okay, I call it respiratory etiquette, how you should cough. So that when you see someone coughing and is doing it the wrong way, you can also correct the person. Now, the other picture is showing that you avoid close contact, okay? Make sure you're 1.5 to 2 meters away from the person. The other one is to clean and disinfect your hands with hand sanitizers. And the last one is to stay at home, self-isolate. Avoid large crowd. You can see these people. I'm very sure if 2 people have coronavirus in this crowd, all these people will likely have it. Because it's in droplets, okay? And the virus can stay up to 30 minutes in the air. So it's from droplet, and that's why we say avoid close contact. Once you do that, you know you have settled that part of the preventive measures. Now, good respiratory etiquette. You could use your face mask when need be. You could see the coronavirus is hanging everywhere. You could use your gloves when need be, okay? Now, this person is self-isolating. And you can see she's coughing, sneezing, runny nose, and the likes. You can see the coronavirus is somewhere hanging, right? You can see. Can we all see? The coronavirus is somewhere hanging. But she does need to do this because self-isolation is very, very important. Now, teach your children to cough or sneeze like this to avoid spreading infection. So next time you cough, that is the way to cough. Okay? You cough into the sleeve of your bent elbow. Okay? So that is the way to cough. And I hope we all understand why we need to cough that way. It's difficult for someone to have a handshake with you and it's going up to your elbow. True or false? It's very difficult. So once you do that, it helps to prevent few of the viruses though. But that's the best way. That's a respiratory etiquette we need to take note of. Please, let's teach our children, our mothers, fathers, everyone that we come across, that don't cough this way. This is the right way to cough. In doing that, you have educated someone and you have saved that person. Now, this is a technique of hand washing. Okay? This is by World Health Organization. Most of us don't know how we wash our hands, but this is the way to do it. Sorry, I need someone that is a bit tall. Okay, so the slide will be shown and I will just demonstrate, okay? Since it's not too clear. Okay, so what you do is this. Most of us, I see us want to wash our hands and we apply soap first. Or the liquid soap first. Or the bar soap. That is wrong. Okay? What you do is this. You wet your hands first. This is not because we don't have work to do. It's because we are trying to keep safe. You wet your hands, and that's what you can see in the first figure. The second thing you do, you apply the soap. The third thing you do is to rub it, okay? You keep rubbing it. You're rubbing the soap, and it's making the lather, all the lather it can make. Then you do that. Then you go this way. I hope we are all seeing, and those in the gallery. Then you go this way. You go this way. You keep doing it. I tell people when you're washing your hands, you try to sing the happy birthday song twice within your mind. That gives you a proper timing, okay? Meaning that you do it like 40 to 60 seconds. Once you're done doing this, you go the other way. You keep doing it, okay? You keep doing it. Then you now turn now to this surface. You do this, okay? You keep doing it. Then you do it the other way. What you do for one, you do for the other. So that is, I've explained down to the 5th figure. Now the 6th figure below, you do this. Once you're done with this interlocking, okay? I'm not just doing this. I'm interlocking my fingers. So you interlock. Because while you are interlocking, you're able to wash this area of your hand. So you interlock it, not just this way. While either backward or when you're this way. Then the next you do is this. You interlace these knuckles. Okay? I hope we can all see. You interlace them, both. Once you're done with that, you go this way. It's a whole lot of work, right? It's not really a whole lot of work because it's just 1 minute. You do it, then you do the next one, like this, your thumb. Okay? This time around, you're concentrating on the thumb. And once you're done with that, you do this. Your fingers are close together. Then you do it like this, like this. So once you're done with that, okay, it's not difficult. If it's part and parcel of you, you just do it. Okay? So once you're done with that, you can now put your hands below the tap and run the water. Then the water runs on your hand until you know that it's no more feeling soapy. I'm sure we all know when your hand is no more feeling soapy. Then you wash, okay, your wrist. Then you do this, your wrist. Then you do this. Once you're done with that, you're good to go. If you're lucky to have a dryer where you are in the place you are, either in your home or at a restaurant, whatever, you can then go under the dryer and get them dry. But in the absence of a dryer, you can use a single towel or handkerchief. Once you're done with it, please, it's single use. It's not for you to use, then another person use, then another person. You're passing it. You're passing all the germs. Okay, so once you do that, you dab your hands and your hands are clean. But before you know that your hands are clean, please don't use that same hand to lock up your tap. Use the towel you use in cleaning and place on the tap handle and you lock. Are we good to go? If I see somebody washing hands now in few hours time, I can see you doing the right thing. Good. Okay, there are some various myths about coronavirus. Some say antibiotics can cure it. That is not true. Some say when you drink a lot of alcohol. That is not true. What it means is this: the hand sanitizer you're buying, please. There are various hand sanitizer in the market. But when you're buying your own hand sanitizer, go through the active ingredients. And you are going to see the ingredients there. Alcohol. WHO says at least 60% alcohol should be in your hand sanitizer. For this sanitol, it's 70% alcohol. So once you have that in your hand sanitizer, you're good to go. The same way you wash your hands, just apply your hand sanitizer the same way. Allow it to dry and you're good to go. Some say it only affects elderly people. Yes, they are more at risk, and I have said reason why. They are prone to comorbid conditions, cancers, heart failure, kidney failure, hypertension. But all age, please, all ages are prone, okay? Infants alike, school age, whatever age you fall in, we are all prone, okay? Everybody is prone to it. Some say, Dama is coronavirus, COVID-19. It came from Wuhan. Oh, I'm not in Wuhan. Neither am I in Italy. I'm not in Saudi Arabia. I'm a black man. I have melanin in my body. Everybody is at risk of coronavirus. Whether you are a black man, you are a blue man, you are a green man. Everybody is at risk. Now, what do we recommend? If you are not in an area where coronavirus is so rampant, okay? Like now, if I'm not in China, I'm not in Italy, I might not really be bothered. But we all know that coronavirus is in this country now, so we should be bothered. You wouldn't bother if you're not in those places. And because you wouldn't know if somebody that had a contact with someone in Lagos is now in Plateau State, and that person had gone to Bukuru Market or Terminus. So that is the reason why we need to be very careful and observe all these preventive measures. It is understandable that you may feel so anxious. This is not the time to be very anxious. It's just to take precautions, okay? It's not the time to be afraid or be fearful. Oh, coronavirus. Yes, it's good we have the knowledge that we might prevent ourselves from this deadly virus. I'm done with all this, so you can go to the next. Okay, what is the future projections? Near future cause of COVID-19 as at 12th of February has spread to 25 countries in total on 4 continents. But like I said, it's now in all the continents of the world except the Antarctica. Okay, so the future projection is just for us to be aware and know that this is now a pandemic. And since this particular virus is similar to severe acute respiratory syndrome, SARS, which most of us got to know about some years back, we need to be careful. All right, conclusively, as in position of globalization is on right now, we know that the spread of coronavirus is here with us, okay? Is here with us. And we hope that in the nearest future, the future we're talking about could be in a week's time, 2 months' time, or thereabout, that we'll be able to procure a final solution to the cure of this disease that is ravaging the world. And we hope that this will actually come to be. So if you have anybody that you think might be having this disease, or might not even be around you. You hear from far off. Just advise the person to call the toll line. That's the Nigerian Center for Disease Control toll line, a free center. You can always call. The number is there. Okay, his number is not clear. Number is 080 97 0010. Okay, I'll come slowly. The number is 080 97 0010. Now, I want us to do something. Before I go through the question, I need another volunteer, please. Obvious that when we have times when we need to use this, most of us don't know how to wear even the gloves itself. You see people trying to struggle to wear the gloves and all not. Now, when you have a pair of, I see people wear hand gloves and they wear only one. The reason why the white man made it two is because we have two hands. Okay? So, you go this way. Once you find your thumb, it's obvious that this is the thumb. True or false? I hope we can all see. Okay, so once you find your thumb inside this, first, that's what you should be more concerned of. The thumb first. Then it will become easier for you to flip the rest. This glove is a small size, so it's difficult for me in a way. Okay? It will now be easier for you to flip your hand inside. It's a small size, so it's really difficult. But that's the way it should go. But my point is this. It's not just the putting on of the hand gloves. I'm sure this is made in where now? There's actually... Okay, so you do same for the other hand. I think this is freer. So you can see, sorry, thank you. You can see this is freer. That's why it went so easily. So let me just do this. Okay, once it's freer, it's easier. Okay, that's a small size, so it's giving me more difficulty. Now, this is what I want to explain. This is a disposable gloves. We have surgical glove. If it's a surgical glove, there's another technique in wearing that. Okay, but since this is more affordable, we can even have it in our homes. We can buy it. It's not as expensive. Now, my plight is this. You're with your gloves, and you've done all you need to do with it. It's stained. It's dirty. How do I get it off my hands? It's not just, oh, I'm done, then you flip it out. No. There is a technique in removing it. Now, this is what you do. You use this. Are we all seeing? You do this. You place it underneath the one you want to remove. So you do this. Okay? Once you do this, you flip it over your thumb. Remember, I placed this, my left hand, inside the gloves of my right hand. So you flip it this way. Can we see? Once you do it that way, the whole thing comes off this way. Are we good to go? Now I'm done removing this. Then I place it in a bin. Okay, I'm assuming. I place it in a bin. Now this hand is freer. You do the same thing. You flip it underneath, okay? I'm not supposed to touch, but just for the presentation, because this is tight, you do the same. You flip it over your thumb, and the whole thing comes off. Do you understand? Reason is simple. You are just use the glove, and the outer part is stained, is dirty. You wouldn't want your hands that you try to protect now contaminated. And now I see people have some form of belief that once you use your glove, you don't need to wash your hands any longer. That is not true. You're done using your glove, you go do your hand wash. What is this? Okay. I also see people in the event of trying to use a face mask do some funny things. I don't know where they got it from. There's a technique for everything. So what I will do is, okay, I just have few, so just pass it around. I'm not saying anyone should put it, or just pass it around on that row. Make it very fast. Pass it around. Okay, so what I want you to do, as if the face mask is with you, what you should do is this. I want you to run your hands down this lower part of the face mask. Just run your hand this way, and then run your hand this way. In the next 2 minutes, I'll call someone that I think has observed that to tell me what is the difference. The girl at the second seat should come. Did you do it? Did you do? Okay, you've not done it. Run your hand this way on the face mask that is going around, and run your hand this way. That's all. Just feel it. So, can any smart student should come if you have done that? I know we are all smart, but I just need to know if you actually know what I'm talking about. Who wants to come, please? Come. So I want you to tell me the difference, okay? When you did this, right? And you did this. So tell me the difference.
This one, like, he have a stick, and the other one did not have a stick.
Okay, that's beautiful. Clap for him. Even though he referred to it as a stick, but it's something like a string, okay? So at any time, it's passing around, or anytime you are able to have one, you can just observe that. Now, the manufacturers that made this for a purpose. They could have as well leave this place empty as well. But there's a reason for everything, okay? I hope we all know there's a difference between this surface and this surface. What's the difference? Come. What's the difference between this surface and this surface?
This one is hard, then the other side is soft.
Not really, not really. Someone else? Come.
That's the inner part, while the other side is the outer part.
No. It's just simple. It's just something you can see. Sometimes when your teachers ask you a question, you think it's something big. It's just something simple, okay? So who can tell me? Between here and here, what's the difference? The color. Okay, so if you are saying this is hard, this is soft, you've not touched it, have you? I just said, what can you see? I didn't say, what can you feel or touch? It's just the color. Because, of course, you have to see first before you know what you're doing, okay? So this is what? Blue, okay? Whatever shade of blue you want to call this, fine. And this is white, beautiful. And this is where you anchor it to your ears, okay? Both ears. Now, demonstrate how you should use a face mask, okay? Assuming you have clean ends. Everything goes back to that. Assuming you have clean ends. The whiter part is the inner part. Inner part meaning what? Is the one that covers the nostrils. But I see people use this to cover only their nose because they feel it's the nose that is more important. It's to cover your nose and your mouth, right? That is what it is. Now, the place that has the string is the upper part. The place that has the string is the upper part, while the other one is the lower part. So this is what you do. You don't? Okay. So you place it this way. The string part is the upper part. That's what I'm doing. The whiter part is, and the reason why is this is because there's a material they use in making this place called the polyurethane. It helps to prevent all the germs coming out, okay? That is just it. It's not just for decoration. Now you do this. It's covering your nose, your mouth, covering about 1 centimeter of your chin. Okay? Then you flip this here. Okay? You flip this here. Then we are not done. Then what you do is this. Because the string is here, you adjust it this way. Like you're clipping it. So you clip, because there's a string there, isn't it? The string is adjustable string. So you clip your nose. If you put your face mask and you don't do it that way, I think you just want to demonstrate some stuff we don't know. So that is the way to wear a face mask. Once you wear it, the string part is on top, then you clip. Once you're done, you can then remove, okay? Once you do this automatically comes off and you dispose. That is the way to wear a face mask. I hope we are okay with that. All right. Sorry? Okay, so many voices I can't really. Okay, we have some questions here. So, can someone read? Then I answer. Where is the head boy or somebody? Okay, so you read for us, right? Fast.
Is it okay to put both the face masks and the hand gloves in fire, and also with the smoke, be harmful to human health?
I don't understand. Fire from where?
As a while, maybe after the use of the
No, okay, I think I understand what this person is saying. When you're done using your face mask or the hand glove, should I dispose it in the fire? No, not necessarily. Just dispose it at the bin. Okay, I'm sure we all have bins. And these days of good governance, we have trash cans, okay, everywhere. So you can just dispose it.
Okay, another one. You made mention of COVID-19 affecting the respiratory system, which obviously involves respiration. So isn't a total lockdown an avenue for the thriving of the virus due to saturation of air in the atmosphere, which disperses?
That's what we are talking about. It comes in droplets. A person sneezes, and it has a virus. It's in droplets, okay? So we advise that you just stay. Of course, from the rest, that's why when I was talking about the etiopathogenesis, I said this virus attaches itself to the upper respiratory system and start disseminating. So once you know somebody has it, just distance yourself from the person, and that will solve it.
Okay. How is it that Nigeria has cases of coronavirus if China had quarantined herself earlier?
How is it that Nigeria has it? You're surprised how Nigeria had it. Of course, somebody came with the virus from Italy. The first case, which we call the index case, okay? It's from a man that stayed in Milan in Italy. And of course, he came into the country, was having symptoms, didn't isolate himself, and they had to take him to the hospital. He was confirmed positive. Okay, so will I say that we're actually prepared in the real sense for this pandemic? I think that is left for the government to answer.
How long does it take someone with COVID-19 before dying?
Beautiful. I think the slide, I skipped it, okay? This is what we call the incubation period. God bless whoever wrote this question. Now, the incubation period is 2 to 14 days. Incubation period simply means the time between the infection and the time of manifestation of the symptoms. So a person got infected today. Give it 2 to 14 days, the person will manifest certain symptoms: runny nose, headache, fatigue, dry cough. And that is the reason for self-isolation for 14 days. Okay? Now, from the incubation period, from the extreme incubation period, which is the 14th day, give the person 6 to 41 days, and the person dies. Incubation period is 2 to 14 days, and I've said what incubation period means. 6 to 41 days, and the person died. An average of 14 days, the person dies.
Use of nose masks. Use of nose masks, can it help preventing an individual when evolving into a large crowd, when getting involved?
Distance, distance, distance. If you use a nose mask, whatever you call it, either nose, it's not nose mask. That's why I said it doesn't cover just your nose. It's face mask, okay? When you use a face mask, and we are all using face masks now, we are here. We are not helping each other because our distance is to, I said, maintain about 1.5 meters to 2 meters. That's why I said you shouldn't be within 6 feet, okay, between you and the person that has it. So with or without your face mask, distance is very crucial. Distance is very crucial because as at this morning, it was said that since a large crowd of people have been bound in China, the cases they are reporting now, it's quite getting low. Because, okay, no more gatherings, no more going to market, no more. It helps a lot, okay, to curb this virus. Because there's no way, it's difficult. Someone has it and you're too close, there's every possibility that the other person will have.
Okay. Some people tested positive for COVID-19 but have not come down with the symptoms. How is that possible?
It's very possible. Okay, there's this actor called Idris Elba, right, that has the coronavirus, but he didn't come down with any symptom. No cough, no runny nose, and all the likes. Will I say the immune system of that person might be quite very potent? Because before you can know this person has coronavirus, a nursery, what we call a nursery swab is taken. Okay, a swab stick is used on the person's nostril or the person's throat, or what we call a throat swab. Okay, and taken to the lab. So until it is confirmed in the lab, you cannot really say with or without the symptoms. Okay, and that's why we say confirmed cases is when there is a positive laboratory case with or without symptoms. The person might not even show any symptom. But once the lab say this person has coronavirus, that stands. Okay, someone say, can one wash and reuse the face masks? No, no, no. I see people wanting to be managers, and they use a face mask and they wash it. They use it, they keep reusing it. Okay, the white man that made this called it disposable. The same with this, meaning that it's just one use. Once you use it, you trash it in a can.
Okay. How long does coronavirus survive outside the human body?
I said the virus is quite contagious, that once the person sneezes or cough, it can stay for as long as 30 minutes. Okay? It's just logical that you are not 1.5 to 2 meters away from the person. This virus is moving everywhere, and so the other person can get contacted. 30 minutes, the virus can stay.
There are opening pores in the skin, and the droplets get into these pores. What happens?
Now, I said earlier on that sometimes the person coughs on surfaces, phones, the handles of doors, in your office or whatever. It's not been proven yet that, yes, it's one of the means, one of the transmission, okay, that someone coughs on a table now and you place your hand on it or something. Now, it's the hand getting to your nose or your mouth or your face that we are worried about. And that's why we say avoid. There's one of my preventive measures, one of the pictures there showed that you shouldn't use your hands. That's why we encourage hand washing, okay? On your face, you coughing, sneeze, and you still use it on your face, wipe your face and all. So once you try to curtail all those things, getting it from a contact surface might really be difficult because it has not been proven.
Okay. Can coronavirus be transferred when someone is dead?
Okay, it's not that kind of disease that the person dies and you go and you contact the virus. It's not, will I say it's not as deadly as Ebola, even though coronavirus, because in the case of Ebola, the person is dead, you can still have some form of contamination, okay?
Is it true that if you are O positive, you are not supposed to be
Yes, I had this
infected?
question yesterday. There's no blood group that is immune. Don't be deceived. You are O positive, you are Z positive. There's nothing like Z anyway. I'm just saying it. Whatever group you belong to, whether you are a sickler, you are not a sickler, everybody is susceptible. Don't be deceived, because you will not be deceived that, okay, I'm O positive, I'm AB positive. They said I cannot, okay, get this virus. Then you will now be very careless. You don't observe hygiene. Just make sure that you observe your respiratory hygiene and your good hand washing hygiene.
How true is it that COVID-19 doesn't exist in places where there is heat?
It's not, like I said, it's all over the continent except the Antarctica. And the reason is because Antarctica is very, 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 very cold. Okay? But the scientists came to prove that, is it really because the Antarctica is a cold place? We don't know. But it's just not been found there. But we cannot be too sure that it will not go there. And because people rarely stay in the Antarctica, right? People rarely stay there. Animals, bears, those are the things you find in the Antarctica. So whether heat or no, or cold, rain or sunshine, coronavirus is real.
If the droplets of COVID-19 drop on your hands and you wash or sanitize your hands and do not make any contact with the eyes, nose or mouth, is there still a tendency when you wash your hands that the virus goes with the flush water, and are you free from it?
Okay, how can you be sure that the moment you have it on your hands, it hasn't already got into your respiratory system? It's not like you're a robot that you know that, okay, this person has coronavirus. Okay, I won't touch my eyes, I won't touch my nose. No, we just do things with the normal way we live our lives. Okay, so just observe the measures that you need to observe. Wash your hands, because you can't know if you actually have it or you are already in contact with the virus.
Okay. What is the meaning of the figure 19 close to the COVID?
Oh, sorry. Now, coronavirus is a virus, from a large family called the coronavirus. I said that it was discovered late last year, at I think December, or to be precise, 31st of December 2019. Coronavirus name. And because it was discovered in 2019, hence the name coronavirus 19. Or you want to say the COVID-19 is just coronavirus disease. The D there is the disease, okay? Coronavirus disease dash 19. 19 just says it started in 2019. I hope that is clear. Is that clear? So COVID-19, you are still saying coronavirus. COVID-19, coronavirus disease 2019. It was gotten in 2019. So everybody can remember, even in 20 years from now, we know that it was in 2019. Or it's otherwise called novel coronavirus. Novel simply meaning that it's a new virus. We don't know how it came about. We don't know the treatment. Specific proven treatment yet, even though chloroquine is hanging somewhere.
Okay. Does coronavirus infect animals or pets?
It does. We just said that coronavirus was said to be gotten from bats earlier on when I was talking about the origin. Is zoonotic. Zoonotic just means animal disease. Okay? So bats pass the information across those in the villages. I know some people eat some of these animals. Bats, cats, dromedaries, camels. It can be gotten from animals. If you eat shrimps, please, I need to say this. If you eat shrimps a lot, this is not the time to eat shrimps. If you don't eat shrimps, you will not die. Don't eat shrimps, please.
Can it be sexually transmitted?
Coronavirus is not sexually transmitted. It's not human immunodeficiency syndrome.
Okay. In a case whereby we share food with one another, are we going to have the virus, COVID-19?
No, no, no. Okay? I hear some people say, don't use my spoon, don't use my cup, don't use. All that is not necessary. Just if I'm observing the good measures, and the measures I need to take, and you're also observing it, then we are both free. Okay? So you don't need to. I said it's not a time to be anxious. Okay? That's what I said earlier. Just take the preventive measures.
If the virus have infected the person critically, will the vaccine work?
Yes, the vaccine is on trial. Not that the person has it and the vaccine will be given. Of course, someone already have a disease, okay? The vaccine no longer works for the person. Okay? I don't want to go into the teaching of vaccine. That is not our main aim today. But the vaccine can only be given to people. Okay? And someone said, I think in one of my slides was stated that even if the vaccine is ready today, within a span of 1 year, you can't give it to everybody. Okay? Vaccine can only be given to someone that is yet to have a disease. And that's why we give hepatitis vaccine. We give polio vaccine. Do those people have? No. But the vaccine is to prevent them from having. So a person has coronavirus, there's no need for vaccine any longer. It's only meant for those that don't have.
If you are in the middle of a large crowd, of which few are infected, and you are wearing a nose mask and someone sneezes, are you likely to be infected?
Of course.
If yes, why?
We just said that they are in droplets, right? And you inhale, right? Your respiratory system is working well. For you to even be around the crowd, that means your respiratory system is really active. So it's in droplets. Once the person sneezes and all, every possibility. So you can see the preventive measures just came into play in most of the questions, okay? Just take caution of all this. Stay few distance away, 1.5 centimeters thereabout away from the person. Observe good respiratory etiquette. Don't cough into your hands. Okay, curve into your sleeve bent elbow. And we showed a slide. Okay, this way. I was with one of my little boy yesterday, and he coughed, and I harassed him. Actually, I said, I caught you, coronavirus. He laughed. I said, why? What do you think I wanted you to do? And he said, I should have done this. I said, beautiful. But you know what he told me, and which was quite true, because it's a reflex. When you sneeze, it's a reflex. He told me, but it came so fast. That is true. Because when you want to sneeze, it won't tell you, I'm coming. You should be ready for me. You just come. Okay, but if it's in you, it's in you. Okay? There's no how I want to sneeze now, you see me use, I would do this. Because I'm used to doing it. Okay? And it's even, I think it's more, okay, it looks more fine or something. Okay, to do that.
Last question. How true is it that taking sour lemon can cure the virus?
Please, I want us to know that whenever there's an outbreak like this, as it was in the case of Ebola, you will hear all sorts of things. You will hear all sorts of things. We all know when Ebola came, it was an outbreak, an epidemic. Everybody were told to go and drink salt water. True or false? Please don't, and that is why we are taking this to educate ourselves, to know what actually is this coronavirus. Don't let anyone, and that's why one of the means I projected says alcohol. Alcohol doesn't cure coronavirus. This is not the time to go to beer parlor and start drinking 5 bottles thinking it will kill coronavirus. It's a lie. The alcohol I told you is in the hand sanitizer. That is what people are translated to drinking alcohol. Now, people say, can you take lemon? Can you take honey? Can you take all manner of things? Okay, you go to places, they will tell you there are concoctions you can take. It is not true. Nothing works as such for coronavirus, okay? So let's be very, very careful. And as we are being careful going about our daily activities, educate others, okay? I learned the Plateau State government is closing down all schools starting from next week for about a month, okay? The federal government had already declared varsities and unity schools. Hello? 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 Okay, it's obvious some of us don't like school. No.
Keep quiet.
Keep quiet.
It's obvious some of us don't like school. And you want to be great people. If you want to be great people, you have to like school. Because this is the road to being great. True or false? I only said that, please, you have to get an information from your school as at when your school is going to go on break. I'm saying this on a general note, okay? That's why I said the Plateau State government. The federal government also had declared closure of varsities and unity schools. And I know for the Northwest, Lagos, Niger, Kwara State had already followed suit. And why are they doing this? It's just to curb large crowds. Exams have closed down. I learned the Joint Admission Matriculation Board also is rounding up their exams this weekend. Some are even I think Bayelsa State is taking exam on a Sunday. All this is to make sure that they curb large crowd. And even if they are taking it on Sunday or they are taking the exams, they will still make sure at least 50 people in a class so that people will not be that much. All this is to help us prevent the coronavirus. At this junction, I would like to say, our best friend now, yes, I would say is the media, but the right media. Because so many things are in the media, okay? You go to Facebook, for some of us that always on our phones, you see barrage of news, okay? The most trusted news at this point is the news you can get from the World Health Organization website. Any news aside that, please, it could be dangerous, because you will hear a news and you will pass it to another person, and you don't know who that person is calling in Cotonou or calling in Ondo State. Please, as much as we want the media to be our friend, let's get the right information and make sure that we observe all these preventive measures. In so doing, I think to some extent, we would have been able to curb COVID-19. Thank you.